Hello, my name is Megan Gardner, and I am the owner of Joyful Futures Career Counseling. I'm here today to chat with you about government student loans. So, a quick overview of our agenda. We're going to talk about what student loans are, their benefits, supports available for specific types of students, eligibility, and the application itself. Just a quick disclaimer, the information in this presentation is based upon the content posted on the official Saskatchewan Student Loan website, located at www.saskatchewan.ca/student loans. It's also based upon my own professional experience as a career counselor for the past 15 years. And if you have any specific questions or concerns, I encourage you to visit the website, read the handbook, and or call 1-800-597-8278. So what are student loans? They are a form of financial aid for full-time or part-time students. They can cover tuition, books, housing, and other expenses. They can supplement other resources. They're based on need. And I'd like to explain them in a way that they build a bridge between what a student has and what they are needing so the student can access their program of interest. Essentially, they make education more accessible. Some of the benefits of student loans. So they're interest-free until 6 months after you graduate. So while you're studying, the interest is not accumulating. It doesn't start to begin accumulating interest until 6 months after you graduate. Traditionally, they have lower interest rates than other student loans or lines of credit. There are multiple flexible options for loan repayment in the future. If you do receive grant money, it is non-repayable. The interest on your student loans that you do accumulate is a non-refundable tax credit. And there are potential loan forgiveness programs depending on the area you're studying in, the programs that are out and available, and your specific needs. So some supports that are available for specific groups of students. Indigenous student has specific funding. And please note that band funding is not considered a financial resource. And so in that respect, students can normally access more student loan funding if needed. Students with permanent disabilities, students with dependents, and students who are visible minorities are able to access specific grant or loan funding. There's funding available to students who move away from home. And through this type of funding, students are able to make trips back home to visit. And there are student grants available based on income level, family size, students with dependents, students with permanent disabilities, or other factors. In order to be eligible for a government student loan, you must be a Saskatchewan resident. You must be a Canadian citizen, permanent resident, or protected person in Canada. You must demonstrate financial need. You must be enrolled in a post-secondary program. If you have previous student loans, they need to be in good standing. If you're older than 22, a credit check will need to be completed. And you have not already exhausted the lifetime maximum assistance limit. So in order to find the application, it is available on the website. The applications become available in mid-June. So for example, if you're wanting to apply for a fall 2025 loan, you would access the application in June of 2025. I do encourage clients to apply early for student loans as the processing time can vary and you want to make sure your money is in place prior to your school startup. In order to apply, what you will need is your social insurance number, your health services number, your parents' social insurance number and their dates of birth, and information about their marital status. You'll need a valid email account that you're able to log into. And if this is your first time applying, you'll need access to a printer. Where to go to apply. Visit www.saskatchewan.ca/student loans. Click Student Aid Application, then apply. Before you're able to access the application, you'll need to create an Advanced Education Student Portal account. This is not difficult. Basically, you'll have a username, password, and you'll need to verify your account through the email address you provide. So once you are in the application, you will have to please click here before you start, before you're able to get into the nitty-gritty of the application. This link will provide you with some valuable information you need to know prior to beginning. So there will be a couple options in order to start your application. If you are a full-time student, that means you're registered in a polytech or college program that is full-time, or you are registered in 3 classes or more at a university. Remember that each class at a university counts for credit hours, and 3 classes traditionally is 9 credit hours. So you need to have a minimum of 3 classes or 9 credit hours to be considered full-time. Part-time is anything less than that. So if you're registered in 2 classes or less than 9 credit hours. Please note, if you do not finish your application, you are able to discontinue the application, re-log in again, and update or continue whatever application you began previously. So here's the first page of the student loan application. It asks for your demographic information, your mailing address, and your contact information. The second page has your program information, so where you're planning to study, what you're planning to take, and when you're planning to take it. It also asks what year of program. So if you're in a traditional 4-year degree, what year of study are you beginning? It does ask for your course load, or how many credit hours. And then it also asks the modality. So is the majority of the program in person or through correspondence, distance, or online studies? Please note the cautions at the bottom of this page. It is up to you to notify the Student Service Center if you have any changes to your study period. So if you discontinue, or if your school expels you, because it can affect your funding as well as your repayment. Please let them know as well if you drop classes and are not considered full-time anymore. And please note that you may be considered discontinued if your attendance is poor and you drop below 90% attendance, or you miss more than 3 consecutive weeks of school. So the next page determines the type of student that you are. This is why you'll need to enter your marital status, the commencement date. So if your marital status is single, the commencement date would be your date of birth. And whether you have or do not have dependents. You'll also need to identify if you are a current or former foster child or ward of the Crown, and if you yourself have any dependents. The next page talks about citizenship and Saskatchewan residency, so please answer these questions honestly for your specific situation. This is a voluntary declaration page. You're able to declare Indigenous ancestry, visible minority status, or disability status. The next page is your educational history, so where you attended your last high school and how high of a level of education you received. This page defines a study period. A study period is basically the time that you're in school. So for this specific application, it says that the study period is from September 2024 to April 2025. And it asks where you will be living during this time. So will you be in your family home or living away from home? And will your residence while you're in school, is it in the same city or town as your family home? And if not, what is the distance in kilometers one way? This is where you can declare any income you have for your study period, so for your year of study. This can include educational funding, but does not include band funding. It can include scholarships, bursaries, money that is saved, or any income you'll receive during your study period. If you do not have any income, you can check the box in the middle of the page. And if you file income tax for the previous year, it will be obtained directly from CRA. There is an option if you like to be considered only for grant funding. And if that is your situation and you'd only like to be considered for grants and not repayable student loans, you can click yes here. If you do click no, and in the future you decide that you'd only like to receive grants and not loan funding, you can contact the Student Service Center. So if you are the type of student who is considered a dependent, you will need to fill in the parent demographics page. So this is a snapshot of what that looks like. And the parents will also have to declare the number of parental dependents under the age of 23. And from there, how many of them are also in post-secondary at the time that you'll be studying. And then finally, that brings us to our consents, authorizations, and agreements page. So definitely read through here. And when you're comfortable, you can check the boxes for agree. And please note, if this is your first time applying for student loans, or it's been more than 2 years since you last applied, you must fill in, print, and sign or fax. Sorry. If this is your first time, or it's been more than 2 years since you last applied, you must print, sign, and mail in or fax these consents forms to the Student Services Center. So the Student Services Center address is listed here at 1120 2010 12th Avenue in Regina, postal code S4P0M3, or you can fax the printed document to 306-787-1608. So that concludes all of the information I have to share with you on government student loans. I'd like to thank you personally for your attention. And if you do have any questions, you're welcome to either reach out to the Student Services Center or feel free to send Joyful Futures an email at joyful.futures@outlook.com. I hope you have a great day and good luck with your application and your schooling to come.